All right, great. You survived week one. We're in week two now, and I'm telling you, you're only going to get more and more comfortable with the flow. So, this week is going to be very similar to last week as far as the structure. You have a little reading to do, you're going to have a quiz and an exercise. As I said before in the first video and in the syllabus, everything that you did will be graded before the end of the week. So, by the end of this week, you will have your grades back for the two assignments that you had. If you don't do as well as you expected, just take it in stride. Like I said, the first week is usually the rougher of the weeks, but you'll start to get the flow of it, and you'll, maybe get exactly how you should be approaching these assignments. As far as the quiz too, I want to point out that, as you can tell, some of them are multiple choice and some of them are short answers. So it will tell you right away if you got the multiple choice ones right or wrong. As far as the short answers, though, I'll have to go back and grade those, and I also make sure that the multiple choice, that there wasn't some kind of mishap, and maybe you did answer the correct thing and for some reason didn't register right. So I do review all the quizzes, and just wait till the end of the week to see what your final quiz grade is, and of course your exercise grade, which I'll look back and grade this week. So that's last week. This week now, let's take a look at what we're moving into. So, week one, you learned a little bit about news, what makes something a news story. I asked you to start reading news stories so you can start to make connections from what you're reading to the actual classroom. This week, we're going to start preparing how you actually get prepared to write a story. So you're going to learn a little bit about the research phase, right? Very important to research what you're about to write about. Also interviewing, because in your stories you're going to have to interview someone and get that information. So learning a little bit about the interviewing techniques. This is all building to what your first assignment will be. And that will be given out next week, though I will give you a little preview in this video. But basically right now we're learning the theoretical, what is a news story, how is it created, why is it news, something newsworthy. You're then going to be learning, like I said this week, how you prepare to write it. And then next week and the following couple weeks, it's going to be actually how you write the actual story. And then you're also going to be writing your own story, which I'll get into. So that's the flow that's coming. So this week is very, like I said, very similar to last week, because you're still reading, you're still doing exercises. You don't actually have to go out and do any reporting yet, though that is coming. So let's just, as a quick refresh, again, let's go to our weekly content. Yours is not going to look like this because this is the instructor view right now, but you'll be in week two, which you'll see. Reading this week, you're going to be reading chapters 4 and 5, which is the research and interviewing chapters. You're going to take the quiz and you're going to complete the exercise just like you did last week. Both are in the homework folder, which is in here. You're going to start looking at hard news stories to cover in your area, and I'm about to go over that in a minute. And again, continue to read a few news stories each day in local papers or national papers, a mix of both. I haven't done anything with this yet in this class, but we will. So I want to make sure that you're keeping up with the news, because some of the assignments come down the pipeline. You will be using what you're reading and keeping up with in the news. And plus, it's also good just to help make these connections. Things that we're learning in this class, I want you to connect in the outside world. And the best way to do that is to actually read what journalists are doing and people working in the media, how they're using the lessons. So my hope is that you learn something in this class, you see it being applied in a news story, and you make that connection. Go, oh, I get it now. I see how it was used. So I do want you to take that seriously, even though there's not necessarily a grade attached every week to this. I would really like you reading those news stories, and eventually it is going to help you out when it comes to things that are graded. So you can find these assignments either in the homework folder, where I have chapters 4 and 5 and the exercise, or again, you could always go to assignments and go to the quizzes folder or the exercises folder and find what you need to do. They are both due by Sunday, by the end of the day, just like this week. So you'll see this class is very consistent. Sunday, before Monday, basically before Monday, these next two assignments are due. All right, let's do, like I promised, a little preview. So not formally giving this out yet. You're not going to be able to find this anywhere. But this will be the assignment I'm giving out next week. And I want you just to at least be aware of it, because you can start to think about it. This first sentence right here, you're going to be writing a hard news story. So we're learning about what hard news is, what feature writing is. You're going to be doing a hard news story. And you're going to be covering a live event that you attend in person. So this could be, it could be a sports game that you're actually covering, the actual game. And when I say sports game, sure, pro games are great, but it could be your niece's soccer game. I guess we're not really in soccer season, but it could be a baseball game. It could be a minor league team. It could be your niece, 12-year-old kid's baseball game. It could be a town hall meeting, so some meeting that's going on in town. You can look at any town that you live in, they have board meetings throughout the week. You could attend something like that. You could attend a speech that's going on somewhere. You could attend I don't know, if there's some kind of fundraiser, a charity event. I mean, we can go over this a little bit more next week, what counts, but it's pretty much anything that's happening in the moment. So there's some kind of event, some action going on that you only have one chance to go to it and cover. So you will have to physically go there, and you'll actually have to cover it. So I know this can be difficult with like working schedules, but that's why I want you to start to think about it now. And if we'll talk about this next week, but if you really need help finding an event, I can always help you out. But I want to maybe do something even that you were planning on going to anyways, right? Or something that isn't too inconvenient. You have a Saturday off or something. You can find something to go in the morning to for a couple hours. So I tell you this because I want you just to start to think about it. Next week I'll be giving out this assignment, but maybe you can start looking ahead right now and seeing something for next week or even the week after. You have a couple weeks to get this assignment done. So if you can think of something on the calendar for next week, that would be great. If you do have something and you just want to check it by with me, feel free to message me. Again, remember, you should always be checking my messages over here. And you can always send me a message and just send me a message saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this on this week. Do you think this would count? And I'd be happy to walk that through with you. Again, more directions to follow next week. I just want to put it on your radar. All right, so that's all I really got for you this week. Next week, I'll be able to start giving you more specific feedback in the actual video. So once I grade through your assignments, once I start to see maybe some problem areas, I'll actually start to give you specific feedback. And you'll see, you'll get a lot of feedback in this assignment that I'm grading right now, your exercise. And also when you start to actually write journalistic stories, I'll give you a lot of individualized feedback. But in next week's video, I'll give more feedback to the general class too. So next week's video will be a little bit longer. But this week, again, we're just still getting into the flow of things. And I want you to get a nice solid base to move forward with in this class. As always, send me a message if you have any questions or something that's confusing, or if you want to just introduce yourself to me and let me know a little bit more about what you want to get out of this class. I'd be happy to hear from you. So I don't want you to feel like you're isolated. I know we're taking online. I know we're doing this at separate times, but I want you to feel a connection. So if you do have a specific question for me, or you just want to introduce yourself, or you just have any questions about media or journalism that I'm not necessarily covering in the course, feel free to have a dialogue with me. Consider it an in-person class too, where I can have some face-to-face time with you. So I'd be happy to talk to you. We could Skype. I just want to just let you know that option is open. All right, keep up the good work, even though I haven't seen what you've done yet, but I know that you worked hard this last week, so keep up the good work. And I look forward to getting to the real not hard work, but more challenging work, I think the more rewarding, but more challenging work next week. So build that strong foundation because that's coming along.